Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another edition of Adventures in Careerland. Hello, everyone. I'm Adriano Magnifico. I'm career facilitator in the Louis Riel School Division, and very happy to be with you in this session, which we're recording just before the holiday season. For some people, it's Christmas. For some people, it's Hanukkah. For some people, it's all kinds of cool and powerful moments of great community. This is a great season. And it's winter time, and we have a beautiful dust of snow this morning, which is what I was just looking for. Very happy about that. And I'm looking at, two of my very, very able and smart producers. We broadcast from the broadcast media program in the Louis Riel School Division. And the broadcast media program is one of those 13 applied learning and apprenticeship programs. But I think this one is the Cadillac. But I always have to say the Tesla Roadster because they don't know what a Cadillac is. So very, very happy to have with me Zoe Kruzek. How are you, Zoe?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm great. And she's managing the big control board, the mixer board. So
Yep.
we really need her. She's on top of her game. And she looked at me funny when I said we had a beautiful dusting of snow. Why is that, Zoe?
Because there was like 2 inches on the ground. That's not a dusting.
Oh, my gosh. I love the snow. The snow's beautiful. I want a white Christmas.
I don't like snow.
The snow, the farmers need the snow. Everybody needs the snow. Bing Crosby loves the snow.
Who?
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Okay.
That was the number one song when he recorded that way back when. The number one song, the greatest selling song of all time. Been beat up by other songs lately, but an amazing thing. Love the snow. And we also have with us Akira Sakakis. Akira, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. And of course, I'm looking at Akira, and he's looking down at his phone, wondering something. What were you staring at on your phone?
I actually just, 5 minutes ago, I received an email for the internship, so I was just reading on what that's about.
How exciting. And
Yeah.
of course, these two students are on the precipice of an internship experience. And that's what we do in the broadcast media program. And Ken Plaintink, who is Mr. P as he is known, and the person who kind of runs the whole program, he builds the skills in these young people so that they can go out and connect with different companies. And Zoe, who are you going out with on your internship?
I'm going with Production Rival, or in English, River Productions. And they base more on small documentaries, mainly in French, around Winnipeg and Manitoba and stuff. So.
Hey, so I think you're French, and you're from that special school in St. Anne. What do you call that school?
Pointe de Chêne.
Pointe de Chêne. That's a beautiful thing. And whenever I speak French, I talk like this because I think that's the way French. And you know what? A special thing for Christmas, we're having tourtière.
Okay.
Do you guys have that?
Not usually. Not for Christmas dinner, at least.
But that's not a delicacy, and you are French Canadian. Yes.
We've had it. My great grandma likes making it, and it's pretty good.
Oh, I bet you it's spectacular. Spectacular. So what's the Christmas food for you, Akira?
To be honest with you, we're not
I want you to lie to me right now. Just right to my face,
I'll lie
okay?
to you about it. No, I feel like a lot of people get turkeys and things like that. We eat sushi.
Sushi at Christmas time?
Yeah, we eat sushi. That's
my son would be in love with your family. He'd probably leave our house because we do the turkey thing, and I've always had the turkey thing. But now my family seems to be rebelling. They don't want to do the turkey thing. So
I don't know. I've never been into turkey. It's always really dry, I think.
Well, it doesn't have to be dry. You just got to make it properly, and you have to have a very good cook to do that, right? But you're right. I think our traditions are getting beat up a bit on that level. We're not doing a turkey this year for the first time. And I think since I've been alive, we're not doing a turkey at Christmas. This is crazy. And I remember we had Lily, who was a producer of this podcast from China. She said dumpling is the big go-to in China.
Yeah, I remember listening to that one. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing. I thought dumplings, and she went, "Oh, people love these things whenever there's a holiday event." So that's pretty cool. So Christmas is different for everyone. That's a beautiful thing. We get to celebrate our differences. That's the best part about Christmas, and about the holiday season, and about all of the other dates that people choose to celebrate and think about community and who they are and what's important to them and bring their families together. Awesome stuff all the time. You know what? I think we have a doozy of a program, everybody. I think it's big time because I brought on another old student. And he's not, I guess he is old now, from 1997, from the original career internship program that I started way back when at River East Collegiate. 1997, amazing. So this is our guest who is making some waves in an industry I wasn't even aware was that huge, but he's going to talk about that a bit. I'd like to introduce you to Kris Rzesnowski. Kris, how are you?
Doing well. Long time no speak, Meg.
That's right.
Been
It's been a
ages.
long time. How long has it been, Kris?
Well, probably was like 20 years up until like a week ago, but it's been a while.
It has been a while. And you know what? I remember
Yeah.
you. I remember you way back when. You in that some of those original years of the career internship program. We had all that federal funding, and we had tons of students at River East choosing that in grade 12. There were well over 100 in your grade who were in that program, which was kind of neat. But I
Yeah,
remember
we were loaded back then.
it was loaded up. And in fact, it peaked a few years later with its numbers. It was in the 120s and 130s just in grade 12. It was kind of amazing. And we had a great teaching team, and it was wonderful. I remember you in that program. Remember we had to do those tech projects? Everyone had to do a major project and connect. I remember you, and I told you yesterday, we chatted a bit, I found your old cover of your tech project in a file, and you put your head, and you were with another fella working on the project together. You put your head on top of a hockey player, and your tech project was to run a hockey tournament. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the best part about the whole project was probably that cover page.
And I was just going to bring that up. And truly the best part was that cover page. It was so much fun, the cover page. Then you open it up and you really didn't have much of a project, but you did it. You did it. And I look back on those days. You were a happy-go-lucky student, though. You were enjoying life, and you had some goals in high school. What were they?
Yeah, I think I came into the internship program trying to be get a ride along with the police officers. I think it was Winnipeg or RCMP. I tried to force you guys to try to get me an internship with one of the police agencies, and that didn't work. And had to go apply for a bunch of businesses, and I think it was you and Mr. Bohinski and Mr. Bohart at the time.
Yes.
We're all trying to push us into like the business side of it, and
well, we did try.
some resumes.
Let me tell you why we did that stuff. It wasn't about pushing you into a space. We always wanted you to go to a space that you weren't familiar with, so you could test it and check it out and gauge it. Because people put their eggs in a basket and go for that symbol, that single little needle in a haystack. We wanted to just broaden your sense. And I think when I look back at what you've become, I think you have broadened yourself. And I think part of those experiences were instrumental in how you've turned out.
So I said push, and the right word is guide, because that was it's true that was the had I known where I ended up at the Manitoba Moose, that was my internship, which was pretty cool. Had I known they were going to become an NHL team, I probably would have focused a little more and stuck with the team. But yeah, just through life, that was a great experience. I still keep in touch with Kevin Moore, who was the guy who hired me over there and brought me in.
Oh yeah, amazing. So
he's now over at 92-1 at City there, and it was an amazing experience. It was a great learning opportunity, and then it led to a future in business. But I would never have guessed that's where it would have started.
I know, and that's where my attitude about it all the time is collect those dots. And we talk about it in this podcast. Collect those dots. Don't worry about collecting the perfect dot that you think is going to be the one. Just step outside of your comfort zone a bit. Step outside of those boundaries and just have a look around. Things stick to you. You don't even know what sticks to you. So tell us what you did after high school.
I became a police officer. Actually, I was a financial advisor in university, and I kind of lied to them and said that I was done university, even though I was in my first year, and I did that part time while I was going through university.
Don't worry, Kris. We'll cut that out. We have a Cracker Jack.
No,
I'm
they knew it.
Kidding. I love it.
They couldn't figure out where I would go all afternoon when you're supposed to be out selling, and all of a sudden a guy disappears for an afternoon. I was in class and blasted through that, and then I became a police officer, and then ended up with the Manitoba Sheriff's Department for a few years.
So now, what did you glean from that? Like, that's what you wanted to do. That's what you always told us.
Yeah.
I want to be a police officer. I want to be a law enforcement officer. So you did it for a while. Why didn't that stick to you completely and ever more?
You know, there was a whole bunch of events that go on, and you see a bunch of stuff. And for me, it was the dream was to do it. And when I got there, there was politics involved in it. It was hard to move up. Hard to work for the province. I realized I probably wasn't the best employee in a structured environment like that.
Government stuff. Government stuff is a little regimented, isn't it?
You show up when you're there. You get paid for the time you show up, and it just didn't really fit the entrepreneurial spirit. And then I ended up getting out of there and went into insurance fraud investigation in the private industry. It paid a lot more. And then I ended up putting my marketing degree to work and started working for a large national restoration firm, and kind of they'll say the rest is history, but that was the door that opened it really up for my career.
So what was fraud investigation? That sounds cool. Like, that sounds so,
yeah.
You're going into situations where you're trying to see the dark underbelly of people, because a fraud is someone trying to cheat the system, correct?
Yeah, and you get some people that really push extra hard, but they're not so smart, and then you get some that are really hard to catch, and they do a good job of it. But yeah, basically, if they had an insurance claim or they made an insurance claim, you would try to figure out if there was a valid argument to it. And we had one file where a lady had a little Ford Ranger, and somehow she had enough stuff that fell off the back of the truck that could have filled a 3-ton moving truck, and it's just not physically possible. And you have to prove it out, and you have to deny the claim. And it's not fun, but you're working for a private company, so the insurance companies are trying to reduce that fraud cost so that they can keep the premium down for everyone else.
Right on. So what did you learn? Like, you're doing all this fraud stuff. What did that kind of skill set did you come out of that? Because you're not doing that exactly anymore. You still kind of are.
No.
But you.
Yeah.
What came out of that experience for you? You've gone from the cops. You've gone from being a sheriff. You've gone from insurance, from fraud investigation. What kind of person are you becoming at that time, skill-wise?
I sort of become one that just bounces around every 5 years. the longest job you retain is 5 years.
Yeah, but what are you getting from each job, man? Like, to move to the next job?
Yeah, it's really changed. In anyone that's going into the workforce now, you're going to have 5 or 6 different jobs over the length of your career, or even more. And if you look at it from a perspective of you're in trying to master that job, or you're trying to find where you are, I was just picking up skills. And when I was an adjuster, I was still living the dream that maybe I'd go back to policing. But when I got into the marketing position, that was lights out. I was honed in on business and just running the business line for the rest of my life. But you pick up, you said in high school, I was all fun laughs, and you basically have to settle it down. And so as we went through getting into the business side, you pick up a seriousness that allows you to start to focus on becoming really good at what you do. And it matured me a lot from where I was in my early 20s to now where I am in my 40s. It's a natural progression.
Well, you're always a fun-loving guy, though. So when you say everything's serious, you still have fun?
Oh yeah, no, you do. But in the business sense, you'll see it in high school, right? You'll see the kids that are heads down trying to get the good grades, and then there's the other guys, which is where I sat. Which we enjoyed the experience of high school, and you'll find out, everyone's trying to make it through high school and just get through. But if you could pick up those experiences, there's the emotional learning that you get from going through high school, where you're trying to figure out who you are. There's the academic side, where you're trying to learn how to learn. You don't necessarily pick up every skill that you're going to need for the rest of your life, but if you can learn how to learn, you'll acquire those skills in the future. And, you pick up a lot of that. Like grade 12 was a great year for me. First year university was horrible. I barely got through the classes. And then I again, focused on what mattered and ended up in some business courses and found my way.
Well, that's pretty cool because we talked about that yesterday. Your first year university, like you said, I was taking sociology stuff. I was taking like what I thought would be really useful for police work and stuff. And you were bombing that, you said.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was the worst experience you could have. I think I walked out with 4 Ds and a B plus. My B plus was in business, and I turned my entire studies around and went straight for the business side of it. Loaded up with as many business courses as I could. Excelled in it. I found a natural home in the business department over at the U of W, and had a couple great professors that I connected with, and they took me through the rest of my university days.
So I love that you said that. So you got your business admin degree from the U of W. After trying out collecting a few dots that weren't working, you didn't fail them, but you didn't do as well as you wanted, right? And you said you found some people. So what extra, I don't know, energy did those people give you? Like you said, they were really influential. How were they influential?
So, yeah, I didn't know it then, but the CIP program was amazing. Like, Mr. Bohinski, Rory, he's still in the business world now, and yourself. There was a lot of memories back from those days that still resonate today. I was laughing with you through text the other day is there was a lot of days when my papers came back with a lot of ink. I thought it was red, but you then pointed out it was green, and then obviously you had some kind of quirky reason why you would be using green marker.
I always mark with
growth,
green.
Growth and encouragement. Yeah, growth.
No,
not when you put that much on a paper.
Nothing grows that much. I use green ink because green is the color of growth and fertility.
There you go. I knew there was some kind of reason for it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But no, it was through high school. Those were that was the learning experience that I recalled the most. And then it was John Melnick back at the U of W before he retired, and he was the marketing and business instructor that I really hung out with. And just keep you focused. And if you look at it now, your life's going to be full of mentors. I have mentors in the restoration industry from around the world that I routinely call just to bounce ideas off of. In university, it was the same thing. I'd go to the professor and say, "Hey, here's where I'm struggling with. What can I do?" And I attribute a lot of my success there to John.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the mentors were important. I like that you said you're going to find them throughout this path over and over again, and they give you a lot of feedback, right? So that's important stuff. How important? I think it's important. How important was feedback? And do you always like the feedback you got, or is it important to get feedback no matter what it is?
No, you'll learn. Yeah, it's a good question. I actually had a mentor back in 2011. His name was Ken Tucker, and I actually met him in 2007 when I was in Winnipeg. But we ended up meeting at a bar in Salt Lake City at a convention. And he says, "Hey, I hear you're going to be a consultant. You're going to run your own business." And he's like, "Hey, by the way, you've never walked a mile in an owner's shoes. You're not going to be a very good consultant." And from that day on, I went back to him and I eventually became an owner of one of the restoration companies, learned what he was talking about, and we're still really good friends today. And he still provides advice 10 years later.
Hey, I love that.
You're going to get some hard licks along the way. Hopefully you have someone that walked that mile before you and tells you what to expect coming up, right?
So the guy basically told you you're a fraud.
Pretty much.
When the dust settles, right? But then he added extra pieces, right? And said, here's what you got to do, and this is what you have to think about. Here's what you got to figure out about this industry, which is kind of neat.
But no, he didn't. He did more than that. He opened up some doors. He was the president of one of the largest restoration firms in Canada, and he actually then retained me as a consultant, but knew where I specialized and put me in the right role. And yeah, he helped. He got me in with the right contacts and helps you learn, right? So, yeah, mentors all the way along the line. You're going to pick them up. You're going to not know if you're not looking for them, they're hard to find. But when you start opening your eyes and you're looking for people to learn from.
So were you
it's a lot
looking for
easier
him
to
then?
figure out.
Were you actually looking for him, or did you just happen to sit down at this convention and then it just kind of happened? Were you looking for a guy like this?
No, I wasn't. He was the first guy that really opened my eyes that was one of the springboard meetings that started my trajectory up and to the right in your career. Like that, he fell in, but once I realized what he was doing, for me and how he was helping me, then it became really easy to go find other people to ask to mentor and to help hone your skills. And he was the first one, but he was the one that opened my eyes that you need those types of, senior leaders in your life that have walked those miles and they can show you a few things. They can save you a lot of time.
Well, that's what I say about the Hallmark movies, right? At the end of a Hallmark movie, when the relationship's going to heck, they always talk to an old person who gives them the human truth about here's what's going on in life and here's what you need to think about. So, hey, it's a beautiful moment. I feel I'm a little misty-eyed right now. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I pick it up off the Hallmark movie, but sure, we could try that.
Oh, I doubt it. Anyway, hey, tell us you talked about the restoration industry. So you've been doing, that obviously came from your adjusting, right, in the restoration, because you're immersed in that industry when you were adjusting, right? When you're looking at investigations, you're in the restoration industry. Is this a huge industry? Tell us about this, because you mentioned it as that's where you got your first mentor, and he talked about this, and you became a consultant in it. Tell us about the restoration industry.
Yeah, it's a really big hidden industry, but you'll see the trucks everywhere. If you ever see a truck that says fire, flood, water, hail, wind, that's part of the restoration industry, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry here in Canada, and probably.
Well, that's kind of my theme at Christmas dinner. I don't know about restoration, but anyway, keep going.
No, it's a huge industry and basically what it is anytime you have if you watch the news, if you see a fire, if you see a flood, like the Abbotsford floods right now, there's restorers all out there trying to dry buildings out, tear out the wet materials. Any news story you see where a property is burning, smoked out, any like that, you'll see these contractors in there, but it's an industry that the general person wouldn't know about, and you just fall into the industry and you never get out.
This is a whole different branch then of the construction industry. These guys are restorers versus house builders versus kind of, commercial builders kind of stuff. Is that right? Yeah.
They're the people that go in and make a dirty building clean or take it to a sanitary condition so that any other builder can come in and then put back what was lost, or they do it too, but it's a unique discipline. And the difference with that is these guys and women get calls at 2 a.m. and they get in their trucks and they go to a fire loss and board up the house and pull out clothes and get it ready for you and take it to their facility and wash it so you have something to wear tomorrow. It's a really compassionate industry from that perspective. Is the men and women on call are 24/7 like a firefighter or a police officer.
So are there lots of opportunities for people to get involved in this industry? Or do you need employees? Are there lots of potential for growth? And what kind of education do you need to do this in your mind?
Yeah, you don't need to get in on the bottom ranks. You just have to, be a little bit above and beyond. You have to have that hero mentality in you. You have to be able to get up in the middle of the night on your on-calls and go help someone. But all the skills are learned in the industry. It's if you like helping people, you like a different challenge every day, then restoration would be something for you. And you can start at the bottom. If you have you don't have any education, you can come in. It's a cool industry. You could come in from high school, work your way through it. If you got a good head on your shoulders, you take the right courses, you can get yourself into a 6-figure position within 5 or 10 years. And it's if you're good and you're administratively minded, you can run estimating or project management on a job, and you can take crossover. You can come in from, say, a Red River, who if you take a project management course or a building course, you could fit right into this industry very easily. But the big thing is are you a people person? Can you relate to someone going through a bad day? Can you empathize with them? That's the biggest thing. So you have to have the EQ, right?
Yeah, amazing. So that sounds like there's great potential. So how would a kid even know like a young person even know that this industry is available to them? Because I'm looking at these two young people here, and Akira's eyes are lighting up. And Zoe is, I'm not sure. How do you feel about this, Zoe? Did you even know this existed?
I had no idea. I just assumed it was like just firefighters, like first responders that did all that.
Well,
Yeah. So
well,
they're the ones that put the water in the house, and then someone has to get it out before it goes moldy.
I knew
And-
about this job. I just didn't know that it was that big.
That lucrative.
Yeah.
Because he lit up when you said they make six figures.
Yeah.
That's what Akira lit up.
It's true. A really good project manager in this industry can make 100, 150,000 if you're a good project manager. A great project manager, I paid some guys 200, 250, 300,000 a year.
So
You just have to be able to be really organized, and you have to be technically sound. So if you go through the right route, the opportunity to be a contender, it's harder to find good people. Like,
of course.
you don't
of course.
get the university grads that go, hey, I think I want to go and tear out sewer damaged drywall out of someone's basement. But if you do come in the industry, that's where the opportunity exists.
Hey, that sounds amazing. So now you've worked with some mentors, you're building. Tell me about your company. It is called, I'm looking at the name here. What's the name of your company? It's Encircle.
Encircle.
Encircle, Inc. So tell us about that company and how you grew it and where it came from, because you didn't start with Encircle, did you?
No. I was a restorer. I was in the field restoring. I owned a business, and it was through my consulting business. And it was actually through my mentor that I was talking about, Ken. He said, hey, I looked at some technology. I think it's junk, but I want your opinion on it. And I ended up meeting with the guy, and he was a former BlackBerry vice president at BlackBerry, and he's looking at the industry. I'm like, yeah, he missed the mark, but the technology looks great. So we started to talk, and I saw a need for it, but they didn't have the product fit to the market. So we started talking, and over a course of a year, we just really got along well, and the opportunity came that I wanted out of the restoration business, and he was looking for a guy like me with the technical skills, and I was employee number 6 with the company, and that was almost 6 years ago, and we've grown it to over 70 people now.
See, that's amazing. So, so do you are you the owner of Encircle, or are you working for Encircle?
No, I have a share with Encircle, but
good.
I'm an employee with them, and we had some great founders. We had these two guys out of the Kitchener Waterloo program, and my first experience with them was like the Big Bang Theory guys. These guys are so brilliant, and they code like you have to find people like now coming into the tech. These guys are rare that you'll find these two bright minds. And so Ronick and Christoph were the ones that developed it. Paul was the sales and vision guy, and then I became the technical guy. And since then, we've been able to change the way restoration's done around the world: Australia, Canada, the U.S., and the U.K.
So you've created a digital platform that enables restoration around the world, and that's
restoration homeowners that have lost stuff. We can replace stuff right off of like Best Buy's website and other websites like that, and then we have the insurance side, where a big part of restoration is communicating between insurance companies to get the money.
Yes.
And so you have to justify everything you're doing. So we solved that problem with visual data.
See, that's pretty cool. So you're a major problem solver. Like you are so entrepreneurial here. It's amazing, because you're looking at problems and you're thinking that's not working, and you're talking to people. There's got to be a better way, and then you're surrounding yourself with the complementary players who also believe in this vision. There are better ways to do things. Do you like that kind? That's almost brand that lean startup stuff. Is that the way you think? You look at something to fix?
Yeah, but the biggest thing is you want to keep your tech company, any company, you want to keep it lean and small, and you want to have the right people on board, because the second you start taking cash from partners, you then have to cater to them getting the return on investment.
Yes.
This is we've done bootstrapping. I've been on the road, traveled around the world, did the direct sales, took the calls at 2, 3, 4 in the morning from Australia for years on end. it's being that entrepreneur with a bigger vision of becoming a big corporate company. But there were 6 of us and 2 of us were sales. So we took every call that came in. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So where do you fit in the world? You say you got all these world customers and you've got a big database, I imagine. So where do you fit in the world? Like, where does the company stand in your brain?
You know what? So we're the only all-in-one field documentation system. So we're in a unique space. We do the photos, videos, notes, sketches, water damage app. Like, we're the only one in our space that services the restore the way we do, which is a bottom-up approach to the industry, and it's growing quick. We're growing customers at a ferocious pace, and it's hard to keep up sometimes. But
I guess
as an industry, you have a bigger vision, though. The vision is to make it easy for these contractors to help people, and so if that's it's easy to go to work when that's your vision. It's easy for your customers to understand what you're doing because they share the same vision.
And of course, it's funny you're talking to a BlackBerry guy who got, I think BlackBerry got complacent a little bit, right? And they allowed Apple to start taking over the market. Like, do you ever feel that way? Like, you have to, got to keep innovating, got to keep moving this product, got to keep it at the forefront. Otherwise, our competitors are going to take advantage of new problems that they can solve. Do you ever feel that way?
You absolutely do, and it's interesting. Our CEO Paul, he got out of BlackBerry in 2009, just at the peak, and he went on and built another tech company, sold it to Google, and then started Encircle. And part of our core is never take the customer for granted, and it's probably from his days there, but it's part of his belief system is you're serving a customer, you better know their needs, you better be able to deliver that value back to that customer. And the beautiful part is with tech is once you get your foundation built and you start building, you get a competitive advantage over everyone else. So your competitors can't build as quick as you because they have to find their market fit. So once you got the head start, it's a lead that is really insurmountable. I mean, you look at that with Google, Facebook. For someone else to come in and steal their market share, it's nearly impossible. They've got such a big coding development on everyone else.
But there's also that fine line, right, where you have to decide to invest in yourself while taking care of your customers. And when you're investing in yourself, you're spending money in research and development. You know what I'm saying? Research and development that may not materialize yet for profit, but you have to. It's a fine line, right, where you have to innovate. But you got to take care of your customers too, who depend on you. Things will change in 5 years. Are you ready for the change in 5 years?
Well, so that's the big thing, and that's just business in general. Is if you're not focused on that customer and their needs, if their needs are changing and you're asleep at the wheel, you're going to miss a major market shift. And the great thing is I'm the conduit between the restorers, the trainers in the industry, the experts, and then our customer base and the industry. So I stay very much in the restoration field just so that we know what's going on and we're designing relevant product.
So it's important for you to have your foot in the trench and see what's going on. Absolutely. Right on.
Could you imagine being in a business where you didn't have a good connection with your customer, where you didn't know what they were doing, you didn't really know their need, and you design product? And you'll see most tech companies, actually most businesses fail because they just don't recognize the customer's need and the customer's willingness to pay. A lot of people have great business ideas. They go in, I'm going to design a product or a service, and I'm going to build a market. You're crazy. You don't need to build a market. Go to where the market already exists and go serve it.
Yes. Well, that's the whole premise of our podcast, eh?
No, you totally are serving the market.
No, we have no sense of the market. Anyway, I'm kidding. Look at these guys. Zoe, wake up. Okay. I made a bad joke. Anyway, but we do this for love. That's how we do it. I love you guys. It's a beautiful thing.
But you're on a podcast. It takes time to build.
It takes time. We're enjoying it. We got 8 or 9 listeners. We love them. Anyway, it's interesting. You mentioned to me yesterday, you talked about you feel so lucky. How much of this is luck and how much of this is you taking advantage of what you perceive as luck?
Oh, good. It's a combination.
I'm messing you up, man. You are.
You are. You know what? It's a combination. you look back at the high school days, I could have made a lot of bad mistakes that could have changed the trajectory of my life, right? So you get through those bad decisions and you straighten out life. You get lucky there. Now, I wasn't the best academic student in any places I've been, but in my professional career, I'm on top of the game there. I'm on the academic side. I'm very, very astute there.
Right on.
But that's hard work, right? I work harder than most people. I'll put in the extra hours. I eat, breathe, and sleep what I'm working on. You have to do it if you're not naturally smart, like a lot of the gifted students that can be academically smart. On the other side, like you said, gift of the gab, I can walk into pretty much any trade show and make friends. So
Exactly.
those friends and those relationships, those are what carries you through in the business world. Is can you make relationships? Can you find sales?
And that was the beauty of you in high school. You had such a gift of gab, and you were so fun that once you, as you say, get a little more serious about things with the base of who you are already, something cool is happening to you. And that's what happens to kids. I try to say that to students all the time. We got to get to the core of who you are right now. And there's great things happening in you in high school. Now let's add pieces to it and just watch you. You're going to fly.
It's true. I was a solid C student in high school. I had some D's and a few B's, and the B's happened to be probably in business.
And there was that transition. It's so cool. But it was that transition. You went to university, same thing happened. And then, boom, you began to see your strengths. You began to see things materialize. So this is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I could have given up in university on the first year, and I had a dad that made sure that I didn't.
Awesome. Good for Pop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He stepped in and was like, yeah, you're going to finish off. And so I ended up going nose to the grindstone and got it done quick. But if you're in high school, like that's a hard time. I couldn't imagine being in high school today where every mistake you make is on social media. And like there was stuff we would do that people would forget in a week. You don't forget now. So, that's a tough environment to grow up in. But here's the thing, if you're true to your character, if you're a little bit more, you have to realize everyone is insecure. And even as professionals, the biggest experts in this field, where I am, they still worry about the 800-pound gorilla around the corner, even though they're the top expert.
Yes.
They're always worried someone else is going to come and squash them. Just act yourself.
That's the innovator's
800-pound gorilla.
Yeah, that's the innovator's dilemma, though, right? It is. It's that question of taking care of your customer and always keeping on top of things so that you're a part of the next wave of greatness. Hey, I like what you said, though. You make your own luck by working just harder than anybody else. I love that, man.
You know what? You have to look. I am not good on the books, but I'll spend extra time making sure I understand the concept. And you have to do that hard work, but that's part of the learning process, right? Yep. If you have something that you're focused on, it's easier to learn than if you're just learning. So you just look at high school as you're there to learn how to learn and use that opportunity. You might not use the tools. I didn't think I was going to use math and English. Now I write more articles than I ever thought I would. So I have to go back to my English skills.
So now all that green ink is coming. Now the fertility of the green ink is showing the growth and the sprouting of you into the person you should have been all along.
Oh, come on. Well played.
Hey, just gotta put one in for the English teacher. Guy works like a dog.
Yeah, absolutely. For all the English teachers out there, switch to green ink.
That's right. Push the green ink. Hey, so what would you say to a high school group? You walked into it now. There's a grade 12 group. You come in there, who you are now, but remembering what it was like and what you've gone through. What cheap piece of advice would you give them?
And you know what? So it's funny. You go back all the way to CIP. I had the chance to work with an old guy named Ken Matthews.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, you remember Ken?
Oh, of course. He was a mentor to everybody. He was an entrepreneur. Ken was an entrepreneur who ran a number of businesses, including, I guess, the Ken Matthews Dance Studio was the other one. But he had 6 or 7 businesses. Yeah,
but he was even like a dancer. He just owned the business.
Yeah, that's right.
He was an entrepreneur. And he was an amazing guy. But, if you could go back and take some of his guidance, which is, don't take yourself too serious. You're going to make mistakes. Just don't do things that are going to damage your character. You can make mistakes because you overlook something, you're going to fail. Take all of those with some humility and learn from it. And if you do, at the end of the day, you're going to actually learn a ton. I had a business that that almost failed. I made $1 million one year and almost lost $1 million the next. And it was a gut punch. I thought I was the biggest loser around. I thought, everyone else goes to these conferences, everyone else is winning. I just turned to one of my friends and said, yeah, I had one of the worst years ever. And then found out they were pumping up how big their business was, and she had one of the worst years ever. We ended up doing a talk, and it was one of those moments of humility where a bunch of people came to listen. And, hey, listen, your biggest failures are going to be some doors that open for you, and they will be successes at the end of it.
Hey, that's awesome. Stay humble, work hard.
Yeah. Stay humble, work hard.
I just feel that in you. That's awesome. Hey, you know what? We're going to put you through our little whip it round. This is where we ask you quick questions, and it's going to be Zoe leading this, and Akira's going to pop in, and you have to answer them quickly. This is our chance to get to know you on a whole different level. So it's really quick. Are you ready for this, Kris?
Yeah, let's rip.
Okay. All right. Zoe, you take this over.
All right, so we're going to ask you a bunch of questions. You have to answer them as fast as you can. As Mr. Magnifico says, like the crack of a whip.
Snap.
So, yeah.
Snap.
And they can be pretty random, so just be prepared. All right, so you ready?
Let's go.
All right, what was the nickname people used to call you?
Rez, and it's still the same nickname today.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Chocolate.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
What's your favorite holiday meal?
Ooh, steak dinner for Christmas.
Marvel or DC?
DC.
What's your favorite Disney princess?
Anastasia.
What's the earliest childhood memory you have?
Fishing with my grandpa when I was probably about 2 or 3.
Do you have any hidden talents?
Ooh, I have no idea.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Chewing with your mouth open.
Do you have any family traditions?
Oh, we got a ton. Yeah, hunting every fall with family.
Favorite Christmas movie?
The Christmas Story.
Favorite Christmas song?
Jingle Bells.
Who is your favorite DC character?
Oh, that's a good question. Batman DC.
All right, that's it. You just got whooped.
You got whooped.
Oh.
There it is. See, they're hard, eh? These good little things are hard.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And hey, what do you like to put in your toast? I always like to ask that.
You know what? I occasionally honey.
Honey.
Otherwise, it's just butter.
It's butter and honey. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you put in your toast just summed you up better than anything we've spoken about in the last 40 minutes. So that's awesome. Hey, Kris.
Just take it.
Kris, this was fun. I'm so glad I connected with you on LinkedIn because we chat here and there on LinkedIn. Quick little comment, happy birthday, or hey, way to go. You know what LinkedIn does? I don't know how LinkedIn knows me better than I know myself.
We're deep friends on LinkedIn.
We're deep friends. That's right. Our arbitrary comments on LinkedIn. It's good. But I'm so glad you did this, Kris, because first of all, you introduced us to a different industry altogether. And I love the way you talked about the importance of humility and character. And you brought back Ken Matthews to me as well, because we worked with him, Bohinski and I worked with him very, very, very intimately on our entrepreneurship programs when we were running those. You remember the entrepreneurship programs and such at River East. And Ken was big.
Yeah.
He used to challenge you guys in the entrepreneurship class. And he was just a great man. So I appreciate you bringing that back to my brain. I kind of, sometimes out of sight, out of mind. Now I'm going to be walking around with a special hop in my gait, thinking of all his I remember his Ken Matthews isms that were always amazing about, don't take it too serious. I remember when he said that a lot. Don't take life too seriously, kid. Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, he was coming from the tail end of his career, and
yes. And wanted to give back.
Cool.
And I just love that he wanted to give back. Do you remember that? He was working with kids.
Yeah, and you know what? It was funny because we had to present our business plans to him. You look, I don't know how the program runs now, but you had to write a business plan. We had some kind of car detailing thing or something, and then we had to present it to him. And he just looked at us and was like, "Seriously, you guys have no incentive to make money here? Okay, yes. Well, I think we should go back to work on it." Yeah, he probably should. And he would beat you up, but it was coming from a place that you learn a bunch of stuff from the guy. It was fun. It was fun.
He loved doing it, and he loved working with you guys. Hey, thanks for doing this, Kris. What fun. Honestly, what fun talking to you. Awesome. Send me a picture of yourself so we can paste it up and just also see the face of the man behind the great voice of the man. So send that to me.
Too kind.
And honestly, the insights you gave today, I think are going to be inspirational for people who listen to this. So, Kris.
Hey, you know what? If anyone ever wants to find me, you can find me on LinkedIn, and if you have questions, you're trying to figure out how to make some big bucks here, fire over a LinkedIn. You'll see my name on Meg's podcast here, and
And
always open to help someone.
I like it. You're paying it forward from those Ken Matthews days. Good for you, man.
Gotta do it. Thank you so much for the invite. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you having you. And everybody, that's our post-Christmas edition or the pre-Christmas edition but when this actually airs, it'll be post-Christmas anyway,
It'll be Happy New Year edition.
That's right.
Happy New Year edition.
It's time to end Adventures in Careerland for another session. Take care, everybody. Be safe.